Good morning. It's chilly today. It's quite cool for the end of May. Anyway, we're gonna side dress some corn. We got this other tank hooked up yesterday, and we're gonna finish the field that we're in, probably run it out, and then we've got to go check some bean fields, make sure we don't have any soybean replants. Off and running already. Look at that. It's a little cool this morning. I wasn't sure how well the anhydrous would flow. Our pressures are a little bit lower on our gauges there than they were yesterday. That's fine, no big deal. According to our monitor here, our rate is good. It's locked on. Should be fine. So we've just got a little bit in the front part of this field to do yet. Everything back behind that grass area there is done. And I did a little bit in here until we ran that tank out yesterday, so we'll just finish it up. This strip right here is probably an NCGA entry. We had one here 2 years ago that went well over 280. Actually, the best one I've ever done has been here, 287. So we'll see. We'll see what the rain does this year and stuff, but that is my plan right now, is that this is one of my strips. So we are only putting on 180 pounds of nitrogen here. Now, that's not enough for 280 bushel corn, but we also put 30 pounds on with the planter, or a little bit more than that. So we're really over 200 pounds of N in this strip. And I have plans of having a guy come in and custom Y-drop some stuff for me and put a little added liquid nitrogen on later in the growing season, like towards the end of June. So hopefully we'll be able to get that done and get a little extra N out here to give us that kick to push towards 300 here. Okay, we have started into the next field here. I got ends done. One thing that has been a little frustrating for me trying to figure out, and I'm new to this, so I'm just trying to figure it out, but we ran implement guidance on our planner, right? And with the Gen 4 monitor and all the stuff that we have and that implement receiver, we can create auto path lines. It's a John Deere technology feature thing that it's supposed to record exactly where the planner goes, and then I can use those lines as my guidance lines for subsequent passes, like this one. But my anhydrous bar is 37.5 feet in width. My planner was 60 foot in width. I was told that it would automatically create the lines and keep them in the right spacing for what we're doing, but I cannot make it work. There's a shift button, but it doesn't shift like I'm used to, and I don't understand how it works or what it does. I don't know. I can't make it work. So we have just changed it back to straight track guidance. Basically, we're using the same lines and the same thing that we did when we planted. We're on RTK. It's accurate enough. I can put in my spacing and it maintains it. Plus, if I get off a little bit, I can push those little buttons and shift it left or right a couple inches. I don't know. I'm a little frustrated with that because it was supposed to work and doesn't seem to be. Phil took those doubles back that we emptied last night and just sent me a weight on it, and I did a little math. We were off by 44 pounds. Yeah, I'd say our rate is dialed in just about perfect. That's awesome. So, yeah, we're going to keep rolling hard here. We do have to stop at some point and go look at some beans here this morning with Phil. I was kind of hoping it would warm up a little bit. It was 45 degrees when I got to the farm this morning. It's a little chilly out.
All right, you guys have been waiting for the math. We got our tank empty, so we are going to close our valves and disconnect the hose. We gotta bleed it off. Close this valve. Close both valves. Close this valve. Okay. Now there's a little bit of gas, really just vapor, but it's trapped inside this coupler. So we have a bleeder valve right here. I open this, and it lets that little bit of pressure out of there. And now we can unhook it. I don't know if I can do it with one hand, but we also have this strap that we use to support the hose. I gotta get that off. Can't do it with one hand. All right, I put the cap back on there. Here's our hose. We're just gonna, we're gonna set that end on there. We're gonna hook this end up here. Like that. And pull our safety chain. and then we pull the pin. We'll leave that one there. We'll hook up to our other set of doubles. Now we do everything in reverse order. Oh, look at this. They got a new tongue in there. Fancy. Ugh.
Alright, so I suppose we better talk about why I'm trying to poison you in your food, right? I mean, if I have to wear this for that, clearly I'm trying to poison you. I mean, that's what I've been told anyway. Alright, so let's talk about anhydrous and what it is. And I say anhydrous, technically it's anhydrous ammonia. It's really more ammonia. The word anhydrous just means that it is lacking water. There's no water in it. It is ammonia. It is NH3 is what we have in those tanks. And the reason for the mask is because it is lacking water. And so I'd have to look up the chemistry side of it and know exactly how all this stuff works. But essentially, that gas, or the liquid under pressure, and then becomes a gas when it's not under pressure, is desperately seeking to bind with with water, hydrogen molecule, I believe. Anyway, it is going to find the closest source of water and bind to it. And if it's vapor in the air, or a hose was to blow, or just a little bit of even that stuff I'm bleeding off when you're changing tanks and stuff, if it's a major source, it's going to find my eyes. Like instantly, it's going to find your eyes, which would not be good. The other thing is it's going to bind to the inside of your lungs. It makes it very hard to breathe. It also displaces the oxygen that you're trying to breathe in, and so it is an inhalation hazard. It is dangerous to work with from that standpoint. But it's nitrogen and hydrogen. Essentially, it's breaking down into nitrites, and that is a plant-available form of nitrogen that our plants can then use. Anything that does make it into the atmosphere is eventually breaking apart into nitrogen gas, N2 gas, and water, H2O. And so it is not a contamination risk for water or health issues or anything that's poisoning the plants or anything like that. It's in fact very necessary for the plants to grow. A lot of farms, or maybe I should say a lot of retailers even, don't handle anhydrous. They use a different form of N, either dry urea or liquid 32% nitrogen, which we use a lot of 28% as well. We put it on in our corn starter. That's how we got the little bit of nitrogen out here that the corn is already living off of. And people don't like that. They don't use it because they don't like the safety aspect of it, just from a handling standpoint. And I'm well aware of those dangers and stuff, but that's why we have our PPE, right? I wear the mask, I wear the gloves every time we're changing tanks or out messing with stuff. And for me, the volume of 28 of liquid that I would have to handle in order to replace the anhydrous makes the logistics of handling and doing that pretty unattractive, right? So anhydrous ammonia, NH3, is 82% nitrogen. So when we're calculating out, and I tell you that we're putting on 180 pounds of N here, that's actual pounds of nitrogen. We're actually putting on 180 divided by 0.82 to get your total pounds of anhydrous ammonia that we were putting out there. What did that be? Like a 220 something, 215, something like that, pounds per acre. So 28 is exactly that. It is 28% nitrogen. There's essentially 3 pounds of nitrogen per gallon of 28. So when you start doing the math on that and the amount of gallons that we would have to handle, the logistics of getting that done is much more difficult than hauling a few of these tanks around for us. So plus, anhydrous is typically your cheapest source of nitrogen. Generally the gas, this is the cheapest. Your dry, like urea, would be the next cheapest, and then liquid 28 would be the most expensive per pound of nitrogen, apples to apples comparison. Now that hasn't necessarily been the case the last year or two, but this is what we are set up to handle. Now there is another factor with, obviously if it's hard for me to breathe this stuff in, what's it doing to the microbial life in our soil? So there's an argument there that the anhydrous is actually not good for the soil. Now it's actually a better form of nitrogen for the plants, but if you need oxygen and you're living in the soil, when I inject this into there, you're probably having a bad day. Clearly it doesn't kill everything off because we still have earthworms, we still have all these microbes, everything is still there. It's not sterilizing our soil by any means. But I can see that aspect of it, and where the liquid 28 isn't going to do that. At least not nearly to the degree that anhydrous will. So it's something that may change in the future, but we'd have to make some major equipment and logistical changes to be set up to handle high volumes of 28 like we would be using. So I don't know. This works for us. It's what we've always done as long as I can remember. I've never had any issues with it or problems, and so it works well for the situation that we are in right now. It's always going to be that way? I don't know. I don't know that, but I do know that it's pretty efficient for the way that we're set up. You know what I should do? I should put the drone in the air and get some video, and then we could go spy on the neighbors. You see them over there in their big planter? Aha! That'd be good to film. We got more dust over there. All kinds of stuff happening today. I do believe that most everybody is pretty well wrapping up planting, or at least getting to the very tail end of it. Most stuff is done around here, and it's plenty dry. There's plenty of time if they're not done. That it's not like it's because the fields are too wet anymore. Well, we got about 7.5 acres left in this field, but our tanks just ran empty. So Phil's got another one sitting up here closer to the farm. We're gonna go hook on that, finish this, and then it's time to go look at beans. All right, well, we got this one done. It is lunchtime, but we need to go look at beans too, so we're gonna do that. I don't really even know where the next field to go side dress would be. We can go look at a couple while we're out looking at some beans and see what we might be able to do. This corn really is just barely big enough. I mean, we got time. It's still pretty small, so I'm not trying to push it real hard right now. We better get fuel before we go back to the field or to another field. Although part of me wants to forget just so that I can have to use the new Boss fuel trailer. That's counterproductive though. Good news. Our beans are fine. We don't have to replant anything. There are a few thin spots, specifically on end rows in a couple of those early planted fields that are a little thin. And if you were going to replant something, you could go and replant those. But it's not enough to mess with. It's not enough to go in there and have two different maturities of beans that are not going to be harvestable at the same time. They're not like, it's not like they're zero. They're just a little thin, and they will be perfectly fine. So, yeah, that is excellent news. No bean replants, and we're going to keep side dressing corn. So we got a little 36-acre piece we're going to go and do. That was the field planted right after the one that we just finished. And then we're going to move back up the other way here. We got 140 that if we can get that done tomorrow, we probably could get it done today if we really want to. I don't know if I really want to. That's all of the stuff that we planted that first planting window, the 12th, 13th, 14th kind of thing. So, yeah, I mean, there's more stuff that we can keep doing, but like I said, the corn is still really small. We don't have to be in a hurry. Well, this corn's a little more variable than the field we were just in, but it's all here and it looks pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with it. There is some thin spots on the end rows, specifically up there along the road, but nothing too bad. So we've got just 11 acres in the front and then 25-ish in the back here behind that ditch. So we're definitely not going to have enough on this tank. We'll have to have Phil bring us one more down here. This corn back here looks really good. Like I'm pretty happy with it. This is a tough farm. This is not one of our best fields by any means. And so getting off to a good start here is nice. It's important and it looks great. We have a really good stand for being that this was planted the 13th of April. Like, this corn looks great. And I know it grew really slow for the first 3 weeks and took a long time to come out of the ground, but this corn is light years ahead of the stuff that we planted last week. Everything from the time we planted the plot or the day before that on, this is way ahead of it. Like, I'm not saying that it's going to be better corn this fall when we get to harvest, but it has potential to be better corn when we get to harvest this fall. All depends on when the rains come through the summer kind of thing. But yeah, this looks really good. I'm quite happy with it. All right, we are almost done. We've got what, three rounds or so here to go. Our tank is empty, so time to switch and finish this up. Always end up with a sliver. That's going to happen a lot with not matching our planter with, and although I usually have a sliver for the planter too. So, all right, this one is done. You know what's really nice about this anhydrous bar versus the old one that we used to run? It folds up so nice. Like, all I have to do is click the lever and it just folds up. It's smooth, it's fast. The other one was much more touchy. The cylinders reacted fast and you had to be very careful that you didn't unfold too fast. You couldn't fold too fast. It was too tall. You had to keep the 3-point down. Yeah, this bar is really nice. I like it. All right. Well, we got that much done. And our tank is empty here. We're going to go ahead and change it. We've got another set of doubles over there for us to hook onto. So that is good. We will do that. And that'll do about 40 acres. Which should get us past the next tank. Yeah, Phil's got two sets of doubles and a big single tank sitting there for me. That might be enough to finish this. I don't know if we're going to get it done tonight or not. It is 4 o'clock now. We're going to change this tank, keep moving, and I'm going to do a live stream here in a little bit because this is a good big open field and a good place to do it. So we're going to do that. And yeah, there's not a whole lot to show you. It just kind of goes. You just go back and forth and everything works. Okay, we got our tanks changed. I was just walking through. Every time I change, I like to look at the bar, make sure everything looks right. There was one bolt that was a little bit loose. I tightened that up, but this bar is still working really, really well. Like, it is sealing extremely well. So this anhydrous is a liquid under pressure, but it becomes a gas when it's not under pressure, and it kind of vaporizes. And occasionally you'll see a white puff of smoke, kind of, or it's anhydrous, but you see a white puff. That row right there, you can see just a little bit coming out. Like, that's some of the anhydrous volatilizing or gassing off, but it's such a small amount. And the reason that that row is doing it is because the ground is a little bit harder there, because that is a planter tire track from before, or from when we planted. It's where the tank that I pulled behind the planter ran, and so the ground's just a little bit harder. It doesn't have as much loose dirt to absorb that anhydrous into. But we're not worried about that little bit of volatilization because it is negligible, and it might look like a lot sometimes, but it's not. Let me see. I gotta look something up. So 1 gallon of anhydrous ammonia, which I believe weighs 5.3 pounds. I did not just look that up. It'll expand 850 times from a liquid to a gas state. So that's like 113 cubic feet or 850 gallons of vapor is 1 gallon, 5.3 pounds. That's 82% nitrogen, so like 4.5 pounds of N would be over 100 cubic feet. Like, that's why that little bit of white puff there, you can't even see, it's not significant. Just finished up another live stream. We're doing some end rows here, and I think it was a little soft when Dad was out here with the sprayer. I don't know if you guys can see that, but he made a big old rut right there. That's fine. It's fine. Can't see anything. It's too dusty and too much sun. Anyway, things are going pretty well. We're about half done with this field. I really don't want to stay here and finish this tonight, but we'll see how things go. Little pocket of some muck, black ground here. Corn looks really good here. Always does. The soil does not crust, and it's warm because it's black. So got some angled rows to do here, and then we'll be in the shorter rows. One more tank change. We are empty. We just have to get around the house. Yeah, there's not very much left here. All right, well, we got the big part of this field done. There is a little bit more to do, about 40 acres yet. You can see there we've got all of this done. We got these 2 pieces up there to do. We're gonna do them tomorrow. It's 7 o'clock, I'm tired, we're going home. So we're gonna just fold up, take this back to the farm. The tank there and the ones down there farther are both empty, and we'll take them back tomorrow and get new ones. I don't know, I'm sure we've got more that we can do after we're done with this field. Yeah, we might have to go look around a little bit, but I'm sure there's more to do. But this will finish all of the early planted corn, the real early stuff. So we're gonna stop up here at the field across the road where we sprayed that gramoxone yesterday. I'm gonna show you what it did to the corn in less than 24 hours. Well, in less than 36 hours, I guess. All right. So this is the field that we have replanted corn in. Maybe we'll even dig a little bit. But we sprayed yesterday, and I wanted to walk out here and show you what our chemicals did, because it's dramatic. So right here, we have some good corn that did not get replanted. Good, healthy, nice stand. This is the stuff we sprayed yesterday. Fried it. Yeah, I mean, there's still some green in there, but, and you can see how that contact herbicide, it's a burner, like, right? Everywhere that got touched with it is brown. Now, we put in some metribuzin with it, that the idea of that is to relocate that chemical down into the growing point, because you could cut these plants off at the ground and that will grow back until the chemical gets down into the growing point there, which is below ground. So it did what we wanted it to do. Hopefully it stays crispy and dead and we don't have to worry about it coming back. There's that risk a little bit, I guess. But let's see. Where's our seed at? I'm about tired of carrying this seed digger around with me everywhere. Right there. Look at that. 3 days. Got a nice long root. Shoot started up. Had enough moisture to get it to germinate. We've got enough heat to get it to grow. Good deal. Awful lot of hay got mowed this week around here. I looked it up. It says we did almost 220 acres today. It's a good day. We got a lot done. Everything worked well. All right, I'm heading home. We've got to go check our corn for emergence flags here. So I'll go do that real quick, but that's it. We'll be back at it tomorrow, do a little more anhydrous, look around, see what else we got going on. I don't know, but we'll figure something out. So have a good night, everybody. We'll see you again tomorrow. Yesterday we were changing those nozzles on the sprayer, and we had gotten some, and they had sent us some of the wrong stuff. And I told you I wasn't going to call them out by name for sending the wrong caps and mixed, but that they made it right. Well, the stuff came up today. I should call them out by name for this mess of packing material, though. How am I supposed to get my stuff out of there without making a mess? Oh, I'm shocked. I don't see any in our plot here. Now, there is some corn coming up. Where did I see them? I can see them from the road, actually. This is how soil types and colors matter. Right where we're at, we're on top of the ridge. Right? If you come over here to this little bit darker colored stuff. Oh, where did I see it? I could see it coming down the road, and I'm like, oh, yes, we got corn to flag, but none in our plot yet. But yeah, look right here. Right there. Right there. Right there, right there, right there, right there, right there, right there, right there. Like, this just a little bit darker colored dirt here. Maybe a little bit more moisture. Maybe a little bit warmer. You can see them across there a little bit. Tomorrow we'll have some corn to flag. I do want to say, though, so obviously there's some corn coming up there, and just in our particular spot, it's not. And when they talk about even emergence and getting everything to come up within a 12-hour window, like, yes, that is important, but it's more important that the plant's neighbors individually come up in a short time window than patches across the field. Like, I get there's going to be some variation and stuff, so what we're worried about is the competition between the plants. We want them to all be even. And so if one area of the field with a darker soil type comes up a day before an area of the field with a lighter soil type, they're not really direct competitors. And as long as all the ones within a row or the rows side by side, for the most part, come up together, that's what we're looking for.